Until the tale of a hunt is told by the lion, the story of the hunt will always favor the hunter. This particular African proverb captures a situation I'm sure most of us have experienced. Two guys get into a fight in an alley. One comes back and tells the story about how he won the fight, even though he has a couple of bruises and a black eye. So you kind of have your doubts, but the other guy is not there. The other guy is not there to tell his part of the story. So you would have to make do with whatever his narrative or with whatever his storyline is. And this, I think, is the situation most or less dominant societies are in. For oppression to be justified, the oppressor must first of all embark on character assassination. And the common rhetoric is that these people are primitive brutes living subhuman lives. And till this day as we speak, people believe lesser known societies were and are primitive. And when the movie Black Panther came out, it was kind of like a shock to the system, a shock to the global cultural system. People of African descent were portrayed perhaps for the first time in a kind of like a positive light. Suddenly, little black boys and little black girls could relate to nobility, could relate to royalty. That to me was both remarkable and also kind of like a tragedy. Tragedy because, as powerful as fiction is, that a black child's first encounter with black nobility and grandeur was fictitious was problematic. Again, like I said earlier, fiction is a very powerful tool in stirring up the imaginations, in stirring up aspiration. But there are super abundant examples of black African empires that thrived before trans-Saharan and transatlantic slave trade. And let me just name two of them. One is the Benin Empire and the other is the Ife Empire. The question is, if these were primitive societies without complex structures, how did they last that long? Take, for example, the Benin Empire that was founded somewhere around the 11th century, before it was annexed by the British in 1897. That means it lasted for over 700 years. Till this day, the monarchy still exists in a present-day southern Nigerian state called Edo State. In the last video, I introduced a concept or philosophy called Ohilipu. Here's why it is somewhat dear to me. There's a resurgence of certain philosophies and concepts that aim to kind of balance the pervasive, shallow nature of the social media age. Things like minimalism and stoicism. Both concepts I kind of like and practice to certain degrees. I also recently came across the Japanese philosophy or concept called Ikigai, meaning the reason for living. And of course, we know that the Chinese have Taoism and other philosophies. But in studying these concepts and philosophies, I began to notice things that I felt I had seen somewhere before, I'd come across before, and I started to notice elements in them that I had somewhat seen in certain West African societies. I had the privilege of witnessing the decision-making process in one African village, and the level of tact and finesse was astounding. It felt they had a guidebook or some philosophy that influenced their actions, and when I probed a little further, I discovered they did have a philosophy or sort of like a guiding principle, and that was Ohilipu. And so it was philosophies like these that lubricated the social hinges of traditional African societies that blossomed long before Black Panther or long before Wakanda. So the man or woman or child who fully grasps the concept of Ohilipu navigates his environments with eagle's eyes. I have been able to, for my consumption or for my own use, to identify 12 key elements of Ohilipo, and I'll discuss them in another video. But these to me are things that blacks in diaspora should really look into, things that they should explore. I'll try to give more light on that in subsequent videos. But for now, as always, remember to create, to explore, and to grow. Bye for now.